Hey everybody, this is Alan Fine. I'm here with Brad Tolkien, the co-chairman and CEO of World Travel Holdings, two of which of those holdings are Dream Vacations and Cruise One. We're on a celebrity ascent for their annual conference, and we're going to be fortunate enough to have another one of the famous Brad Tolkien travel assessments, which we always appreciate every year here on Insider Travel Report. Thank you for talking to us.
Thank you, Alan. Always enjoy seeing you. It's only once a year, but I'm glad that you spend the time with us. We traditionally take 1 week on a cruise for this particular division of World Travel Holdings, and it's nice that you choose to spend a week with us. So thank you.
Thank you. And it's always eye-opening, and so here's some eye-opening discussion. You said that there were no significant speed bumps, and momentum is expected to continue through 2025. And you also cited Jason Liberty's optimism, and you also talked about the gray tsunami. So let's explain all that, and then I have a question for you, because the travel advisors might not even know what we're talking about.
Well, one is, let me start with 2024, both in cruise and in non-cruise, has been record-breaking for our professional travel advisors and this division of World Travel Holdings, Cruise One and Dream Vacations, and we're comping over the best year ever for both respective products, meaning cruise and non-cruise. And we obviously, the entire industry has a great peak into the subsequent year. It's a unique industry in that respect. And 2025 is shaping up to be another fantastic year, potentially record-breaking. It's too early to tell, but right now all signs are pointing in that direction. And so what I said this morning at the conference is that we are not seeing any speed bumps. And there are so many reasons, but I did bring up a reason that I recently read, which economists are calling the silver tsunami. I know you said gray tsunami. They take a little bit of a different word, and it's called the silver tsunami. And what the article said, Alan, is that more people in 2024 turned 65 than in the history of our country. And based upon the birth rate, those who are 64, 63, and 62 right now, that record-breaking number of people turning 65 will continue through 2027. And the other thing the article said is that the 10-year age group between 65 and 74 has 45% more disposable income or more wealth than the same 10-year bracket just 15 years ago in 2010. And then the reason I brought up Jason Liberty, I also brought up Harry Sommer, is because both those cruise lines, and Harry is the CEO of Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings, which is Norwegian Cruise Lines, Oceania, and Regent, and Jason is the CEO of Royal Caribbean, Silver Sea, and this brand, Celebrity. They both reported their earnings to the street in the last several weeks. And, Harry, he ended his statement to Wall Street analysts saying, we don't see any cracks. And Jason was talking, I read the quote, so I didn't get it wrong, but he was talking about the wealth of American households and the trend on leisure spending.
Thank you for the review, but here's my question now. When asked what one word sums up what you would like to do for next year, you said you want to be prepared. Now, I can't imagine you can tell us what's going to happen in travel, but you are preparing scenarios in case something happens. So can you give us a couple of those scenarios of what you would want to be prepared for in travel? Because everything's looking so great.
So prepared doesn't mean it could be a negative. It could be a continued positive. Okay. And so what we are laying out as a senior leadership team is different scenarios that could be challenging to us or could be another tailwind. And so it would be irresponsible at the headquarters of WTH, and given what we experienced from 2020 to through 2022, not to look at different scenarios. Now, we are not looking at a scenario of COVID-2. So I want to make sure that, but we will lay out scenarios based upon the geopolitical situation around the world, based upon the potential, although there's no indication of it, of a pullback in the economy. Right now, the situation that we're focused on is what is taking place right now and why is it taking place right now. And we've all seen the uptick in the equity markets since the election 3 weeks ago. This is a personal comment. It's not a political comment, but because there was such certainty in the election, which I believe has fueled the increase in the equity markets, has also fueled the bookings that we have seen since the election took place, is because of the certainty. It's not a matter of, this is not a matter of one party versus the other, but there was certainty, and people like certainty. And so right now, that's one of the scenarios that we are talking about. How long can this continue?
Any thoughts on whether the new administration will increase or decrease their regulations and how that would affect the travel industry?
We're not forecasting domestically anything that would be a concern to us, but clearly the president, or the past president, the incoming president, he has a different view of situations outside of the United States, engagements that are taking place around the world than the present administration, and that could have an impact. I mean, again, that could be a positive impact. One could dream that if we were able to settle in a way that's acceptable to everyone, the Ukraine-Russia conflict, that one day we could return to St. Petersburg. That would be extraordinarily positive for the travel industry. So, but there certainly will be, based upon what we hear from the president-elect, probably more issues that will affect the travel business internationally than domestically.
Okay, thank you. Your travel trends, there were three you talked about. You talked about the evolution of products and destinations. You talked about the social media continuing to dominate, and you talked about AI. Those are things that we knew were coming. Can you connect the dots and predict or give us a thought of where we're heading with these things?
Well, let's say AI. What I said about AI is an economic revolution to the likes that we have not seen in at least 20 years, when the internet really came into the fold. And it's probably going to move at a lot faster speed than the internet did when it first came in. And so that is something that everybody, every entity, regardless of business, needs to have a focus on, and that's got to be top of mind. But right now, I used a baseball analogy. We're not in the early innings. We're still in spring training. And a year ago, we had a convention around this time. There was very little discussion about AI, but that's the speed that's taking place. And we introduced some products this morning, that are taking advantage of artificial intelligence. In terms of social media, before social media, the three mediums that really existed to influence our behavior, traditional were TV, radio, print media, right. And social media is the number one today. And that's going to continue to evolve. And I shared with everyone two of our top three franchisees, they use social media to fill their funnel of potential clients. And then I talked about the evolution of the product, which is the most dominant thing. Mm-hmm. And, as I said, the Oasis of the Seas, 2 weeks from today, we're sitting here on November 23rd. Yeah. 2 weeks from today, 15 years ago, was the first sailing, and that changed the trajectory of cruising as we know it. I don't see anything big on the horizon. Over the course of my career, over the last 45 years, I've seen the development of Punta Cana as a major destination in the Caribbean. I've seen the explosion in the Mexican Caribbean, which is Cancun and the Riviera Maya. But Mexico as a destination, as a leisure destination, existed prior. And the Dominican Republic with Puerto Plata and Casa de Campo existed prior. So this is all the evolution of the product. And the Oasis of the Seas just changed the trajectory of modern day cruising.
Right. Those were major moments, but there'll be new ones that we almost can't even predict. So I'm going to say, what do you think? Space tourism, is that where we're heading?
So I tell my children, I have three children, three boys. They're 35, 36, and 38. They each have young children. And I say to them, your grandchildren, not their children, but your grandchildren are going to say, Grandpa, you actually drove the car. And so when we look at cruising, home port cruising is very, very big today, but still the traveler has to get behind the wheel. Now, imagine if the traveler can get in the car and not have to worry about the drive. That will open up or expand the amount of miles one would drive to a port, and I think that will help home port cruising as we know it today. The other thing, Alan, I've been in this business 45 years. 40 years ago, we were able to take the Concorde, the SST, from London to New York in under 3 hours. Today, that trip is just over 8 hours. There will be a day when that technology is perfected. And when it's perfected, we will be able to go to Southeast Asia in less than 6 hours. That's going to completely change the landscape of travel, both leisure travel and business travel. So one can dream, and these are the type of things that will happen.
Interesting fact. Due to weather conditions, we were not able to make one of our stops. And what happened to bookings? That's very interesting trivia.
So we're sitting here on Saturday, November 23rd. Yesterday, last year, was November 22nd, 2023, which was Black Friday. So we knew that we were going to have a tough comparison because Black Friday this year is November 29th. But yesterday, we didn't pull into the port of Grand Cayman. The ship could not get in because of weather conditions. And so yesterday, in this division, all of the travel advisors that are on this cruise, instead of enjoying Grand Cayman, they use the fabulous internet that is on the Celebrity Ascent. It's been amazing. And our bookings yesterday actually exceeded, for this division, Black Friday of last year, which is just astonishing. And so, you know, that expression, when one door shuts, another one opens. Well, we shut the door because we couldn't get into Grand Cayman, and we opened the door to a fabulous booking day.
Yeah, notice no one was complaining anymore.
No one was complaining. Everyone had a great day.
All right, so now let's talk about how, yet again, Dream Vacations and Cruise One has outpaced the direct-to-consumer brands that are within the World Travel Holding family.
So I want to be careful here. I didn't say outpaced. The growth percentage, okay, of Dream Vacations and Cruise One has exceeded our direct-to-consumer model businesses over the last several years. And we believe that is because the consumer loves the comfort and the advice that comes from dealing with a professional travel advisor.
The benefit of having these direct-to-consumer brands within the family helps the travel advisors how?
Well, it helps the travel advisors in a couple of ways, Alan. One is specifically in cruise distribution, there's no company out there that has our makeup of the professional travel advisor brands, the direct-to-consumer brands, both owned brands and third-party brands that we handle. And so that gives us a lens into how travel is being distributed, and therefore we can assist the professional travel advisor on trends that are taking place. The second is the volume that we bring in to the suppliers affords us the best-in-class value-add opportunities to provide to our professional travel advisor division, Cruise One and Dream Vacations, to help them grow their business and grow it profitably.
What are your long-term goals for expanding Dream Vacations and Cruise One? Or do you want to keep it the way it is?
So we're a customer-centric organization. In fact, when you walk through the doors of our headquarters, it says, "We care more about you." And so as long as we can expand without sacrificing our service to our customer, we will continue to expand. The travel industry continues to expand. Why would we not want to expand with it? And so the most important ingredient there is continuing to deliver a remarkable experience for our franchisees. If we can do that, we will expand.
How would you measure success for a franchisee other than the income? In other words, just revenue growth is not necessarily a way in this culture, the family culture that you've been developing. What are the other ways to decide success?
if they're loving what they're doing, if they're happy in their life. A balanced life is a happy person. And so not everyone needs to be the largest or the biggest. We have franchisee companies that are competitors, but they're colleagues in the industry too, that are bigger than us. We expand and we grow by servicing our travel advisor community, and it makes us happy. We're sleeping soundly at night the way that we operate our company. So measuring success is not only growth and it's not only profitability, it's being happy and growing and profitable. And that happiness is a key ingredient. I love what I do. Okay, and if I was just growing the company for the purpose of numbers, I'm not sure I would love what I do. I love what I do because we get such positive feedback from our customers that you have experienced this week. And when I hear those accolades, it motivates me and it makes me happy.
All right, so to wrap up, and you may have actually said this, but maybe we'll give you another way to say it. Do you have any final advice to travel advisors out there? Some of them are Dream Vacation Cruise One, some of them are not, but what's your advice to them all?
My advice to them all is the two most important things, and that's, not chasing themselves the latest technology. It's taking advantage of what your parent company provides to you. But for the individual travel professional advisor, there are two things that is the secret to their success. And it's no different than any other entity, but for a small entity, it's really critical. One is to have a focus. You don't have your lawyer that has a shingle that says, I'll do anything you want. And so to have a focus. We see consistently that our most successful franchisees, our most successful travel advisors have a focus. That focus could be product oriented. It could be how they go to market. Sometimes it's a combination of both, but they have a focus. And then the second one, which I think is the most important, but it's to service your customer. A repeat customer will never leave you if they feel loved.
Thank you for talking to us.
Thank you so much, Alan. It's great seeing you. Hope you join us next year at our conference on the Star Princess.
And this is Alan Fine for Insider Travel Report.